Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome to the afternoon session. Let's see, Marley, RPG. Okay, we have a new person, Irka. Irka, not sure how to pronounce it. Sorry if I mispronounced it. But welcome to the channel. Glad to have you. Hola to you. Richard, Shalor, Alex, Miss Goody. All right, Miss Goody, let's see if we can't get that done. Alex, the professor. Sweet. All right, anyone trade during lunch? I'm looking, I don't see a huge range or anything. It looks like there was just some consolidating moves here. Okay, so it looks like during lunch, what we had was, so we left off right in this area. We had just taken buy side liquidity and it was starting to retrace just a little bit. And then we broke off for our session. And it looks like early in lunch, it traded back to the hour breaker, or you can say consequent encroachment of the 5 minute breaker, however you're looking at it. And it just kind of stayed in that range. But what it did is it put a wick inside of the 1 hour fair value gap here, the same one that it traded through at 11:30 that saw the price out. In fact, this is where I was looking for an entry and where I found one. But it traded back to it and just hit consequent encroachment this time. From there, pushed up about 55, 60 points, and we now have gotten a retracement. Which you can see was right at 71%, 70.8 twice, and then it started to build out and taking those equal highs. All right, now we have a rejection off the midnight open, so let's see how far price wants to trade to. Oh, I think this was like consequent encroachment of a wick of some kind. All right, so while we're on the 1 minute, let's look and see if we sweep the morning session high during this macro. We have about a little over 2.5 minutes remaining in the macros. Let's see if it'll run up to 570. It's about 10 points away. Who else? MF. He's seeing, right? On the treadmill, getting your mind right. Alex had 200. Excellent. Good job, Alex. Congrats. Molly took a short scalp for about $300. Molly, I don't know what you do for a career, but you didn't tell your company they're not paying you enough. You can make $300 in an hour. Miss Goody, sure. Yep, I'll show them to you. Right. So let's do the hour first. So the hour is actually from yesterday, right? I think you were here during the FOMC, but either way, I'll show it to you. So we had price trading down, and then we had a retracement here. It then pushed lower, sweeping the low right here into a bullish fair value gap on the hourly, and then it made a short-term high. From that short-term high, we had a wick sweep below the low here. And then you had FOMC, which huge bullish candle, right? So this is your confirmation. Once you trade above and close, that confirmed the hour breaker. And then the following hour, it traded all the way back inside, back into the fair value gap. And then it was 4 o'clock, and we just kind of had a little slow grind until the market closed. And then this is Asia session, London session, and then New York session traded down. But we got a wick, not a candle body. So the breaker is still valid. And then it closed above. So that validated the breaker once again when it closed above. And next candle traded in and back up, creating the high that we were just looking at potentially taking. Traded back in and then back up. So that's the hourly breaker. And it was created yesterday, but we didn't trade back into it until the 9:30 open, and then it started pushing lower. So right around 10 o'clock. Okay, the next one to be created was the 1 minute. And the 1 minute was created, and if you look at the whole range of the breaker, the 1 hour, which is this larger area, and you split it in half, you have your discount at the bottom and you have your premium at the top. So in the discounted section was the 1 hour. The 1 minute. So when price was trading lower, remember on the 1 hour, we saw the wick trade through, and then we saw it come all the way back up on the 1 hour. That's what this is on the 1 minute. So this is that wick pushing through. And then we started seeing it build back up to where by the end of the 10 o'clock hour, it was all the way back up here. But here on the 1 minute, we saw the last short-term high made before breaking a low. And then it started working its way up. And then it took out this high over here. And it closed, which confirmed it. And it immediately just kind of bought up. And I remember waiting. The entry I took this morning was this one when it retraced back down here and then bought up again. So that's the 1 minute. So I then drew that on the screen. And then just before lunch, we got the 5 minute. Here on the 5 minute, and it's the same pattern. So the more you look at it, the more you're going to start recognizing it. So it's just when you're trailing down and you make these short-term highs and you make another low, all you needed is for it to break ahead and close. But it didn't. It broke down once again. So then you mark up this area's potential for a breaker. Trade it up, retrace. This is where I said I got in on the 1 minute. And by it buying up and clearing and delivering like 80 points or something from the 1 minute, it confirmed the 5 minute. Traded back into the 5 minute here. This is at 11:30. And that's when this high was swept out of the 5 minute. And then immediately after, it traded right back inside. And so it just stayed in there for the lunch hour. And now we're up and over here. So let me move the macro indicators over. All right, so that's the 150 to 210. So we'll come back and check that out in about 40 minutes. RPG 2456 less to pass. All right. Shalor. I've used one for breakers, but one thing I noticed is that it wasn't grabbing all the breakers that I would have grabbed. And so either the person who designed it and did the computer coding missed out on something and that's why it's not grabbing all the ones I have, or its criteria for creating a breaker is different than mine. And so it didn't work as well as I would have liked. And so I don't necessarily recommend one. I just think the more you practice and the more you backtest, you'll be able to see these. And then once you're able to see, because the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to be able to see them after they form, right? And once you're able to see them after their form, then you reverse engineer it and say, well, okay, well, how do I get in early? How do I recognize it when it's here and it hasn't even traded down yet? So then I can wait for it to trade back above, close above, and then I get that re-entry. And that's kind of how I do it. So when I'm watching price trading down, if I see the fair value gap down here, I'm watching as it's going. And whenever it touches a fair value gap, a bullish one like here, I'm looking to see if it's going to overtake the previous high to make a breaker. And it didn't. It failed, pushed lower. I said, okay, I have another fair value gap. Now let's look and see if it pushes higher than this high to confirm. And so you first learn how to see it after the fact. You get upset about it, and you find a way to recognize it earlier. But it really depends on what you're looking for. Like I had to be looking for a bullish breaker. Otherwise, I wouldn't have seen this one. I would have been looking for, if I was looking for a short, then obviously I would have been looking for this high to be broken. And now I'm looking for it to break lower or a bearish breaker. And then, of course, it continues higher. So it really depends on what you're looking for. But I knew that this might be a good area for one. There was a 1 hour fair value gap here. Also, if like when we were on the 1 hour, right, you can see that this fair value gap has sent price higher here, traded back lower, did the FOMC move. It also sent price higher here. So this area right here has sent price higher once, twice, 3 times, and now 4 times. And so then we get challenged to doing the same thing, right? There's going to be some bearish fair value gaps here in the middle, but the one to really pay attention to is the one that rejected FOMC. You had all of this momentum coming and it still was able to send it lower. So this is an area when we get here, if I was in a long, I would remove majority of my position. And unless I really, really thought that we were going to trade up to here, like let's say we're in a market maker buy model or something on the hour, otherwise I'd be looking for at least a retracement. So if it takes this high, it's at least going to retrace back down somewhere in the range, even if it wants to move higher. So you'd be looking for a bearish breaker here, and you may be able to ride that down 50 or 60 points before it's ready to come back up. So yeah, so once you start seeing these and you get your criteria as to what makes a good setup for you, you'll be better able to anticipate. But if you just want to use one and just see how it works, or see if it helps you to start identifying them better, there's one from Lux Algo. It's called ICT Unicorn Model by Lux Algo. But there's also others that are by, that's not called a unicorn, just maybe called a breaker. All right. So for now, let's see how high or how far a price is willing to push. And I only say that because we've already gotten one swing here. We got a second swing high, retracement back down. And I'm not really counting this one as because the body didn't close above, but this body has closed above these two highs here. So I want to see how high this one goes because this may be the end of the current run before a decent size retracement. So I want to see if it wants to just take this high at 603, whether we want to get to consequent encroachment of this 5-minute fair value gap or something higher. Okay. Yeah, sure. You can always use that one. I did notice when I had that on a few days, like I never really used it to take entries, but I did turn it on just to see what it would recommend. And I noticed that sometimes it would recommend the opposite direction sometimes when I wasn't anticipating it. And so it would give me, sometimes it would point out things that I wasn't looking for. But it wasn't often that it was giving me a trade that I didn't see. Because even when it would give me the opposite, it would invalidate itself and not deliver because you get a chance to put in whether you want a 1-to-2 trade or a 1-to-1 trade. And I just didn't find the results strong enough. So if you use it, just make sure that you're also using whatever other analytic tools that you're using, whether it's just in your head or you have other indicators that also help you decipher a trade. I would definitely pair that up with something else. Do we have anyone who entered here, somewhere here in these breakers during lunch and currently still in the trade? Or did you enter after lunch, after 1 o'clock, and you're currently in a long? Yep. Okay, we got 60 people in here now. All right, if you are a member or a subscriber and you've been coming multiple times, you already know the drill. If you can help me out by hitting the like button early here in the session, hopefully that'll allow YouTube to recommend us to several more traders before our session ends today. Oh, you closed, Jen? Okay. Hopefully you were able to close in profit. But if not, yeah, we'll look for another setup. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the lunch low as I feel like it might be safe since we're so far away and the lunch period closes in 6 minutes. Got in long at 10:35. Oh, 1K. All right, Jen. Awesome. Okay, so you got in long somewhere here, Ralph, and you had to hold it when it was retracing on you. Jeez. You had to hold it like 50 points. Yeah, that's tough. Hopefully you were able to have diamond hands and hold that until it was in profit for you. All up 2%. Okay. Wait a minute. Who's Jay Stores? Who was that in the morning session? Who was still down that you were talking about earlier? Oh, it was Meta. That's right. It was Meta. Yep. All up around 2%. see what's the daily range today. All right, we're up 0.66% for the day. I'll adjust our lunch high if it gets taken this minute, but I don't think it will. I think what's going to happen is it's going to wait till the next candle comes, and the first thing it does is trade above 604. Pretty much does it almost every day where it chooses one of the sides. It's usually at the extreme, right at 129, and then at 130 it takes the level. All other levels have been traded to today, so these are the only session highs and lows that haven't been traded to. Right, so it has traded above. Let me adjust. There it is. See, there it is. So now New York, the lunch high swept, and now we'll look and see if price wants to return and take the lunch low now. This was the 5-minute fair value gap. Typically don't pay much attention to them, but this one's just kind of been sitting here since FOMC yesterday, and then I saw it trade out. It failed this morning and trade lower at 8:45. So we'll pull it across, take a look at it now, especially since it just swept the lunch high, and now we're here. So let's look and see if price wants to turn around and go the opposite direction, maybe trade back into the breaker or somewhere back in the range. Put this here. Yep, this is the high of the day so far. Almost 1%. Oh, that's great. That made it. It's also turned itself around and starting to move higher. While you mentioned that, let's just go ahead and take a look at how the other indices are trading. Just make sure we have an understanding as well as the dollar. So we see the dollar firstly here on the far left pushing lower. Looks like it wants to sweep lows from yesterday from FOMC. So we'll see if it's able to push lower there. Let's move this out of the way. Add this one. Okay. All right, we see sweep of the highs on the Dow. And not quite. Remember, I just marked it up for NQ and said, all right, this is the high of the day. It was done, I think it's like 8:45 this morning or somewhere around there. But we can see S&P is not quite there yet. It has a good ways to go. 90, about 10 points, but from the high of this hour, it's about 5 points away. So it's not that far, but 5-point move on S&P is still a decent move. So let's mark this one up here as well so we can see it. All right, we'll check back in a little later and see if those levels have been taken. You know what, let me just put this here just so it's clear that levels taken on Dow, but not on S&P and not on NQ. All right, you can see it touch right at consequent encroachment on the 5 minute here at 17,616 and a half. And now we see it pushing lower. All right, let's see how this candle closes now that it's retesting the 8:30 open. William, I'm not sure what your question is. Can you re-ask your question? 617. All right. So far, we got about a 40-point push out of that fair value gap to the downside. And it's now about 15 minutes before the hour. So in about 3 or 4 minutes, we'll have the next macro, which is 150 to 210. We'll look and see if we get either price breaking into returning to a breaker, or if we get price trading to a pool of liquidity. So we'll look during that 20-minute time period for that. About halfway in, we'll hit 2 o'clock. And of course, anyone who trades ICTs, what's it called? The silver bullet slipped my mind. The silver bullet setup, we'll be looking for that during that time period. So we're almost at that time. Drop down to the 1 minute now that we're in the macro. Gives a few more candles. We can see more of the details. It's silver bullet is just an ICT trading setup, which is it's time based, so it's between 10 a.m. and 11 and 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. And you look for a continuation out of a fair value gap between the 1 and the 5 minute for 20 points on NQ, or 5 points, I believe, on ES. if we get a long setup during this macro time period here. Retest the 830 open, it looks like. Got some impulse now, taking over this previous candle, the 154 candle. See if we can sweep this high. And then we have equal highs here at 601. We also want to see that level fall. And then ultimately the daily high up at 619, which we got really close to about 30 minutes ago. All right. Thank you for everyone who hit the like button already. Appreciate you. All right. It's blue to pink trades. Yep. Definitely love those. 791. We could. And that's for Milad. We definitely could do that. I was looking up and I was thinking that we might actually get between today and tomorrow up to 18,000, and then there might be the turnaround zone. So we get triple highs. All right, now we have taken those highs, these equal highs here. Hey, 2 o'clock now. Let's see if we run the highs from last hour, which was just a couple candles ago. Okay. Not quite. See what it do. Trade to half of this candle. And that it did. See what we got here. Appreciate you, Simon. Bond's been rising all day. Okay. JR, appreciate you. That's right, Milad. We can always learn more no matter how much we know. Let me see, Milad. Where was your entry? Oh, you're long from 571. Okay. Sweet. All right, yeah, Malad, you've had to hold for quite some time here. So congrats on having diamond hands. I had an entry around this area, and I took about a 5 point victory on this retracement candle. It took me out at 2 o'clock. Okay, Rosie. All right. Yeah, I used to do that too, Rosie. I would sit down to trade, and usually it was in the morning. I would sit down maybe at, I don't know, 9:45 or 10 o'clock, and I was always in a trade within the first 15 or 20 minutes. And so sometimes I would win, sometimes I would lose, and I had to start asking myself, was there really a great setup in the first 15 minutes, or did I just really want to get into a trade? And so for me, being patient was something I had to learn. And sometimes I'm too patient, but you got to find that happy medium somewhere. And I'm still learning where I can take risk and where I shouldn't. Um, but that was something that I needed to do because I was usually too eager and happy to get into a trade. Well, Queen, you helped me identify the correct breakers. So, yep, we're all helping each other. So originally I wanted to take this trade. If I didn't get stopped out, I was hoping to take this trade up to 615. Well, sorry, 617. I got 4 more minutes in the macro here. So far, we're still within this price leg, that high and this low. It's almost made it up to 614 just recently. Couple more points and push higher than the high from 130, which was, remember, we had the lunchtime high on the previous candle. The next candle took it, it pushed a little higher, and then it broke down. And you see that a lot when you see a session high or low taken. You'll see price start a retracement. It doesn't necessarily run to the other side of the spectrum and hit the other session peak, but it will in a lot of cases give you a retracement. What was the peak? What did it reach? 16.75. All right, there it is. So we have a new high for the afternoon. Still have the daily high, which was made at 8:30 this morning during the news event. All right, there's that 8:30 high from this morning taken. Get rid of that. Now we don't really need this bottom marker either. Gonna move back up to the 5-minute here. And let's see if we can get this candle to close above this 5-minute fair value gap. New week opening gap at 684. Okay, let me add it back to the screen. I usually take them away when they're intrusive and you can't really see what's happening. There's too many in the same zone, but I'll bring it back. 3 seconds. Let's see where it closes. All right, close inside. So the fair value gap remains for another 5 minutes. All right, so we just tapped into consequent encroachment of a 4-hour wick. Oh, okay, this was the FOMC wick. So I'm not sure how many people looked at the 4-hour time chart, but there was massive wick because FOMC traded up 300 points and then back down 300 points within the same 4 hours. So this is CE of that. Just touched it. Okay, you said there's a 5-minute bearish for breaker. Let me go and find that. So I'm not sure I have a 5-minute breaker on my screen for a bearish movement up there. Oh, okay. No, I do. I do still have it marked up from yesterday. Yep, during FOMC, that one. equal size 5-minute fair value gap here, just in case price is able to make it up there. We won't be surprised if it turns around. CE is right here at 687. CE of the fair value gap, 674. $135 candle. That's true. It's a good point. Yeah. Who was I talking to earlier? Well, we were talking about anticipating breakers. Oh, I think it was, oh, it's Shalur. That's what it was, because he's asking about indicators. So I think, did I? Yeah, I think earlier we had looked at the big fair value gap on the hourly up at 780. But yeah, before we even get there, we do have to acknowledge the bearish breaker that was created yesterday while we were doing FOMC, and it had the big range. On the 5-minute, we had a bearish breaker, along with a bearish fair value gap inside, creating another unicorn setup. So we do need to acknowledge that this is here. And when we make it up here, we start looking for failures. And so if we're following price action, we are recognizing this high, which then moved to this low and then got swept to make a new high. Because now if we get a sweep of the lows to make a new low, then obviously we have a new activated breaker that we can take a trade from. But my guess is we'll probably move a little lower, maybe get down here, swing back up into this area if we're going to break down further. Okay, let's also move these macro indicators. Okay, M7 is holding. All right. Yep. If we're going to sell from here, let's look and see if we trade into here and then get back up. So I'm looking for price to do this. Well, we'll see if that happens. Milad, that's the next one. Yes, if we close below 575 or whatever this swing point is right here, then yes, that this then becomes a breaker, a bearish breaker. But go back through your time frame yesterday and look at the 5-minute candle at 2:45 yesterday p.m. 2:45 p.m. Give you the chance to check out my. Yep. Yep, Milad, this is the one that she's talking about. So if we trade below, then this activates the next breaker. If we trade below, as you pointed out, 575 level. I'll leave it here. I'll only drag it across if we trade below. If we get below the 830 open, then I'll pull the breaker across. Notice we kept our bodies inside of this 5-minute fair value gap, which I thought for sure was going to be invalidated, but it's still here. Yeah, Malad. So the one I have up here, this level up here, this is from yesterday. But so far we haven't even made it there yet. So if we just continue to push lower, then we will not use this breaker. It'll still be there, but we'll create one right here. And if price trades below, then we could get a retrace, maybe get something off of the 830 open back down. But this is more of like what I was talking to Shirlure earlier about just looking at what is here now and then anticipating what might come in the next handful of candles, so you know if it happens what you'll do. Because too often, at least for me, too often I recognize what I need to do and recognize the setup a bit too late to actually execute, because I still want to think. I don't want to just impulsively say, oh my God, I need to get in, because I've done that before and it didn't really work out in my favor. So I do want to be there, think about it early, and have a chance to confirm that I want to take that setup. Mhm. Thanks for that, Ray. Appreciate you being on the lookout. Yep. All right. While we're still okay, what's going on here? Like we didn't quite get in there. Let's just quickly jump over and take a look at the other indices just to get an update. So earlier we looked and we saw that the dollar had taken sell side down here, right? And then we had also saw that the Dow took buy side, but we were still waiting on S&P as well as NQ to take buy side. Now NQ has done that. That was the rally that we just saw over the last 20, 25 minutes. S&P still dragging behind, so it is the weaker of the three at the moment. We'll see if it catches up and is able to take buy side, but for now, we'll continue watching price and anticipating whether we're going to get that bearish breaker to form or not. TJ, he brings the energy. Mike, I am. Oh, welcome, Mike. Mike, how long have you been trading? And also, where are you from? Trying to see if I can squeeze one more good trade out of today. Oh, you're from Cali? Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the live stream. Hope you find it enjoyable and something that you want to come back to again. Been trading for like 7 years. All right. All right. Well, you're probably one of the more senior people here, but we have a few others that have that much experience. I felt like most people that I've talked to in here are between 2 and 4 years. You just got into futures for like 6 months. Okay. What were you doing before that? Were you doing Forex? Yeah, I see we're still buying up. Do we think that this was a market maker buy model and now we're done? I gotta take these gaps off. Oh yes. Did we close above? Jeez. I want so bad to delete this fair value gap, but I can't. Price won't close above it. Oh, mostly options. Oh, okay. Got it. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, TJ, get outside and go enjoy the sun. Leave some scraps for the rest of us. All right, Triple C. Yeah, let's see if we can't get one. All right, there's a push. All right, breaker. Here we come. All right, Queen, take care. Catch you in the morning. Have fun at happy hour. $2.15 candle once confirmed. I knew it. Yep. So this is, I think Milad and I was just talking about this. Yep. So once we got a new high that broke above and closed, now as you look for the next retracement, and then it closes that high or closes above that high, then this becomes your next potential, and you just wait to see if it happens. If it doesn't, costs you nothing. But if it does break lower, at least you're available and you're ready and you saw it. Makes it a lot easier to take that setup, especially since we are now approaching the not only the bearish breaker but also the bearish fair value gap. What I like to do as well as look at the potential for a future breaker to create, is also look inside when price trades in. Go down to like the 5 or the 15 second and see if you can see a breaker, a bearish breaker setting up that's going to push price lower, because then that's more likely to push outside of this breaker, reconfirming it, and then push below this one and confirming the new one. Oh, yes, just finally got that high. Okay, excellent. Yep, you're right about that. Sure did. So now that all three have swept the high, we have NQ and the Dow have pushed well past the daily high, and NQ and S&P just got there. So it is worth paying attention to see if price wants to turn around here now that they all have taken liquidity, or if now that they've all done it and that's been confirmed, that now we're back in sync and they're ready to run towards some of those highs we saw during yesterday's FOMC. 8 minutes before the macro. Okay. Yeah. So I guess the fair value gap on the 5 minute is your stop loss. See what happens, Queen. And then you can go to happy hour. Ding. 620. Okay. Let's make it a little larger. Right here is another. Here you go, Queen. Here's also a bearish fair value gap here. 624 to 619. It's a nice little impulse now. Mm-hmm. And 7634. No, no. So on some of these, you'll see I put a little note at the end. So this is consequent encroachment for a 4 hour wick. So go to the 4 hour chart and you'll see a wick, and this is the median point. But yeah, I guess for all intents and purposes, it's buy side liquidity. But buy side technically was here. We had the high earlier from this morning, 8:30 during the news event was here, and so we took that at 2 o'clock. All right, looking very bullish on all indices. Really strong candle this hour. About 12 minutes left. Likewise, the dollar is now putting in its 5th consecutive bearish candle. Mm, yep. Dollar's trading back to levels that it hadn't seen since April 11th. So it's about a month ago that it was at the levels it's at now. All right, Queen, take care. Another excellent trade. Pairing. So we got, let's make this a little larger. All right, let's drop down to the 1 minute since we are at 250. Mm, yeah. Yeah, would have tapped you in just before 2 o'clock, TJ. Where's your TP, Molly? Which level are you looking for? All right, Molly, here you go. 707. Okay, so you still have another 50 points. That's, oh, I see. You want to get out of this fair value gap. Okay. Okay. For NFP, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. I like to wait until we get to that day before deciding where I think price is going to go. It depends on how we close out today. We do have, I believe, Apple announcing their results, their quarterly results after the session today. So there could be a lot of volatility this afternoon between the time of like 3:45 and 4:15. Also, when we reopen at 1800, it could also be quite some movement at that time as well. So I'm willing to wait until we finish all of that before even approaching NFP. $671.25. Yeah, wow, by a tick or so. Home Depot. 1,000%. Jeez. All right, TJ. Fish lips. What's VAL? Can you refresh my memory? Value area low. Okay, thank you. All right, everyone. Power hour is here. Doesn't look like prices are moving lower at this moment. Oh, it's up low. What's going on? Hmm. I was just looking at a trend line. I could see sloping this direction. Just kind of something like this. Good to see it now breaking. This fair value gap here holds. No, this is only on the 1 minute, but still, let's see if it holds. If not, this was the area I thought it might trade into to balance price and then continue. Okay, tapped in. Let's see now how price reacts. right? So the first 5 minutes of this hour, we have all three indices pulling back, just like what you see on Nasdaq. The other two are doing the same, and the same with the dollar. Dollar is buying first 5 minutes, where it's been selling for the last 5 hours. So this is just probably early part of the candle. You know, you put a wick in and then you continue on the way that you were moving. So that's what I'm expecting a dollar to do. Put in a high wick here and then continue south. Let's get rid of these. Oops. Oh, Apple's moving. Okay. Yeah, it's getting close to 707, Molly. You're making it there. Yep. Yeah, about another 30 points or so. Yeah. Okay. So you got 20 minutes now. See how high you can see how far to go, Molly. 3K. That's it's a stellar trade there. And I'm assuming that's on one mini contract. In 90 seconds until this macro is over. Yeah, that's amazing. right. Molly's TP. All right, I'm gonna move back over to the 5 minute now that we are completing the macro. Seven 46. Okay. It bounces from here. Oops. Oh, this is the area I had marked up before. There it is. I moved it. There was a markup from the 1 minute, and I shifted it up once we got to the 5 minute. Sure enough, it went back to that level on the 1 minute. It's this candle right here. $6.53. It's about 12 points. Did it go to 665? Yep. Sure did deliver a 1-to-1. Didn't quite make it the consequent encroachment of the breaker. We did make it the consequent encroachment of the fair value gap, however. There you go, Molly. Put all that in your pocket. We get up to 707. Consider this an extremely solid trade, especially if you're up over somewhere 3,500, 4,000 on one contract. Oops. uh, yeah, Molly, it is exhausting. For sure, it is exhausting. But I mean, I think it's worth the wait if you're that far ahead and you got a really good feeling that you're going to hit your TP. That's what always happens to me. As soon as I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I say, you know what? Let me just take my profit. I hit the button. The very next candle is the one that goes. It's happened to me too many times. Third time. Oh, okay. Jeez. I know yesterday during FOMC you had a monster trade. I didn't realize that wasn't your first. Okay, so we had a deeper retracement into the same area at a balanced price. Maybe just sweep anyone who has a tight stop loss, maybe. Sorry, I was just looking at something, but it's not going to work. Get back to the 5 minute. All right, so we've came down and retested this area 3 times so far. Each time it's pushed out for 15, 20, 25 points, but that's about it. Let's see if this is the one to break through. All right, so all the 3 indices are about at this same point they were when the hour started. So if you go back to 3 o'clock, you'll see we're basically at that same spot now. So this is where everything started. $700 or more. I mean, it's a nice bundle to go home with after a successful trade. Hoping for a short setup. Yeah, sure. Let's see what we get. We've been looking. Obviously, we've reached consequent encroachment of the fair value gap. Up next is consequent encroachment of the larger breaker, the blue area, and that's at 687. And anywhere in between, we can look and see if price wants to turn around. But so far, it hasn't shown that it wants to turn around. And it's 3:20, so we got about 50 minutes left. So we'll keep looking. Okay, 492. Okay, so you're gonna walk away with 215 handles if you reach TP. Sweet. About so that's 4,300. But what happened? Lost 80% of your profit. Ugh. E is low as 488. Okay. Testing everyone's stamina now. It's been about 45 minutes, pretty much in the same range of about 30, 35 points. Hmm. Oh, Molly, you gotta let people know that you're on the on the West Coast. Unless you did, in fact, get in at 8 something New York time. Hmm. Yeah. Yep. So HCE, look between 11 and 12 o'clock, and then you'll find an entry you'll find an entry at the point that Molly said she entered at. Yep. It's the same area I was showing earlier that had the 1 minute breaker, the 5 minute breaker, and the hour, all in the same kind of cluster. All right, Molly, congratulations. Not too bad, not too bad, Gorkum. Things are looking good. I'm actually at my daily goal, so if I don't take any more, it's fine. But if I do find a setup, I would like to at least get one more, maybe get 20, 25 points out of it. 1 minute breaker. We're retracing on all indices at the moment, as well as the dollar. Dollar is pushing higher. All indices are seeking lower prices at the moment. Gorkum, yeah, not important, man. Yep. Of course, you'll come back stronger tomorrow. Don't worry about it. You will. Mm, yep. Yeah, that's happened to me multiple times where you micromanage your position, you slide your stop loss too close, you end up breaking even, and then it does go exactly where you thought it was going to go, and so it ends up leaving without you. Um, and oftentimes, I always say this, that even if you're really good, you're going to probably be right 70% of the time. So if you waste 3 of the times that you were going to be right out of 10 on getting stopped out at break even, then you only have the possibility of going to TP on 4 trades out of 10. And so if you lose 3, you break even on 3 and you win 4, you really only won 1 out of 10. It's just so hard and takes so long to make progress on your account. So yeah, you definitely got to practice your setup some more so you have more confidence in it. And you got to let those 7 out of 10 that should be winners, you have to let them win. All right, Simon, take care. We'll catch you tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen with these wicks, but I do want to just pay attention, see what happens, see how price continues to trade. At AC, take care. Oh, you're in California as well. Okay, so we have several people in California. I know Robin's in California as well. I like this tree right here. Equal highs, equal lows. Mm. We have about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and then our last macro of today, 350 to 410, will be here. See if we get a push above those equal highs. Mm. 5-minute bearish breaker at the 3 o'clock candle, looks like. See if we get a close below. Wait, 2 more minutes. So see if it closes below. In about 7 minutes before we get to the break, before we get to the macro. Back, I'm feeling really thirsty. Just give me a second. I'm gonna run and grab some water. I'll be back in just a minute. So we do have a closure below the breaker here. Do not have a fair value gap inside, but we do have a breaker, confirmed breaker. All right, let's just watch it from the 1 minute here. Since we do have the macro starting in 2 minutes, we'll be moving over into the 1 minute anyway. So we'll just watch the last 12 minutes here. All right, HCE, catch you tomorrow. Oh, wow, Mike. Wow, so you're like south, like South San Diego. Yeah, Malad, it's definitely not in a hurry to get anywhere. That I can tell you. Uh, yes, I think it is. I think it's the same. 574. Yeah, we do have these relative equal lows here. Good call. What setup is shaping up? Well, we have a bearish breaker here, right here in this section. That was, I took it on the 5 minute, but it was a one candle. We had price trade above, and now we have price trade below and close below. Then we had it trade back into 50% right here at 17,640. So it looks like we have a bearish breaker here. We do not have a fair value gap inside, so it's not a unicorn. And now we're in the macro here. So I would expect price to fall, but I am surprised that it hasn't just, pushed, because we are at 350, right? There's 20 minutes left before prop firms close. And so I would expect it to just run down, at least down to 590 or into the bullish fair value gap below the 1 hour one down here. Oh, wow. Only farms between you and the border. All right, so we've traded to consequent encroachment twice, once at 346 and once at 350. But again, I'm expecting speed, and I don't see it. And we just tapped the breaker once again here at 632. Oh, 81. Nice. Nice. Yeah, we're doing better today. Thank you everyone who's liked the video so far. Anyone who hasn't, if you are enjoying the session, can you click the button as well? Hit the thumbs up for me. Let's see if we can't get 100. We need 19 more. All right, so we need this level here to be broken. We need price to trade through it. Hey, there's that low. Yeah, it's tough. I wonder if it's waiting until 4 o'clock to do something crazy because of Apple. When the others, Amazon and the other large companies on Nasdaq, when they announced their results, we saw wild swings at 4 o'clock to 4:03. All right, Rob. Take care, Molly. And we got a small little volume imbalance here. Okay. I know that's too hard to see. All right, push right through, that's fine. See if it can keep going. All right, much better. So now we need to see where this candle closes and then the next couple candles. So we're almost at 4 o'clock. Just got to trade back to consequent encroachment once again. See where this candle closes. Got 7 seconds. Mm. All right, looks like price wants to be bullish. Oh, I'm sorry. Eastern. Yep, 9:15 Eastern. J stores. I'm sorry. Tehran. Yep, 9:15 Eastern. We started up in the morning, and we go until lunchtime, till noon, and we take an hour break, and we come back. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty early for us, West Coast people, West Coast time zone people. But hey, we move by the beat of New York. Mm-mm. Let's go back down to the one. So it's back at the 1 minute bearish breaker. Let's see how easy it is to push through. World 3 now. We got 7 minutes left in the session today before prop firms trading is done. Any of you trading your private funds, obviously you can trade until whenever your broker turns it off. Right, now it's pushed higher. Get all this out of the way now. And we watch the show. Okay, so this must be the Apple push because S&P is kind of neutral, not really doing a whole lot. And the Dow is actually pushing lower. All right, 5 minutes remaining, everyone. 5 minutes. Any final questions or comments? Anything that I can answer? All right, Mike, take care. We'll see you next time. Part of all three. Yep. Yeah, it could be. I didn't realize it was part of all three. But I guess it has a less of an impact on S&P since there are 500 companies as opposed to just 100 in Nasdaq. But you would expect it to have a pretty sizable impact on the Dow since there's only 30 companies in that indice. But not quite the fireworks we saw earlier when Meta sent out their data. I believe it was last week, as well as Amazon, Nvidia. All right, Sony. Appreciate you. We're almost there. 7 more likes. Let's see if we can get 100. Right, so we got the same fair value gap just created once again over here. So I'll just drag it across again. Glad Molly closed her trade because she wanted 707 and it doesn't look like we're going to get there today. See if it'll reclaim this breaker and use it. Oh, did they? Oh, Apple's not out yet. Okay, I thought the market would react to the results being announced early like they did last week. Okay, all right. So I guess Apple hasn't announced yet. So that'll be an 1800 move, or it'll be something at 430 where we're not even a part of it. Let's go to the 15. Oops. Okay, I see what you're saying, Ray. Yep, right at the top, which is also consequent encroachment of 5-minute city. Yep. This is the area we were looking at before. This is a 5-minute. Yep. All right, it's 410. Okay, so all prop firms have now shut down, so there's no more trading there. Appreciate you being here again, Richard, as always. And everyone else, on your way out, if you can hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're back at it tomorrow morning at 9:15. I hope to see you there. If not, I'll catch you the next time that you are able to join our stream. Hope everyone has a good evening and hopefully some time to backtest. And see you next time, everyone.